And today's October 24th, 2019. We're going to look at a CNBC video of some of their news pundits and their potential buys in the stock market. The first one that we'll look at is going to be Johnson & Johnson, and there are some others, MasterCard, Workforce, and then an medical ETF. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to look real quick at their news segment, and then we're going to look at the price chart to see if they are in fact looking and reading the same thing of their potential buys into the market, okay? So now let's take a listen to what they have to say.
Steph, you're up first.
So Johnson & Johnson, I know I've been preaching this name for a while, but it fell 6% last week on the asbestos issue. I bought more. I still like this stock. The fundamentals are very strong. Great balance sheet.
All right. Pete, what do you got for me?
So you heard what she said. She bought Johnson & Johnson.
MasterCard, MA, we have some call buying, very, very short term, but I believe in this stock, and I'm going to probably buy some after.
You believe in it more than Visa, or you like both?
Not more than, like them both. Yeah.
You own both?
I do not. CRM, Salesforce.com, Judge. I like it. I know it's not an earnings play because this is short-term option buying. Earnings aren't until late November, really. But I like this one, and I think Benioff's going to light it up.
Last couple of years, I've talked about avoiding the political rhetoric by being in medical devices. That's your healthcare exposure. IHI, it's a medical devices ETF. I'm already long PKI. I'm already long Abbott, but I want more exposure to medical devices. This is going to give it to you. This is Danaher. This is Intuitive Surgical.
So there you are. Those are the four stocks that they're talking about: Johnson & Johnson, MasterCard, Salesforce, and then INI, Medical Devices ETF. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the first one, which was Johnson & Johnson. Now, we have already talked about this particular stock for our members on our Hue Financial website. You guys can already tell our expectations into the market for Johnson & Johnson. The first woman on the show, she depicted that Johnson & Johnson is a buy, and right now we're not seeing that. The market for Johnson & Johnson is definitely continuing to show us a lot of weakness, the weekly time frame, and definitely on the monthly time frame. Now you can see where we got support at. We got support at around $120 in the market for Johnson & Johnson, but the long-term view on this particular stock is weakness. So we would not be looking at Johnson & Johnson as a buy. Next one that we're going to look at is going to be MasterCard. So now, monthly chart for MasterCard, you can see is definitely been in a pretty good uptrend in the space of late. We are seeing some minor weakness come to the market. Looking at the monthly time frame, this particular stock does not look to be a particular buy in this particular space right now. $280 is where the market is finding resistance in MasterCard, okay, from the monthly perspective. You can see it even a little bit better on the weekly time frame that MasterCard is having a very hard time breaking that $280 price. From the price chart and what it is reading, we will not be looking at this particular stock as a buy opportunity until it breaks above that $280 mark. We have held $260 numerous times. That is the catch point to continue to let you know if the market in MasterCard is stronger or weaker. The longer that we hold that $260, the greater the probability of MasterCard moving higher in time. So right now, this particular stock is just a consolidational period on the weekly and definitely on the monthly time frame. And you see right here on the daily, that's all that's going on into the market in MasterCard. $260 is the number that you need to focus on in order to see the prospect of that particular stock moving higher. So now let's take a look at Salesforce, which is ticker symbol CRM. So you can see right here, even in Salesforce, we are hitting the tops of many of these stocks that these analysts are talking about. Monthly price chart for CRM or Salesforce continues to reflect some weakness is coming into the market for Salesforce. $160 is that resistance area right now in Salesforce. Looking here on the weekly time frame, we are seeing some minor strength coming to the market right now in Salesforce, but we have to break above that $150 price to see a bigger move to the upside. Okay, that's where you're going to see a lot of trauma and drama in the market for Salesforce. Is going to be right there around the $160 area. That's where the battle is going to take place between the buyers and the sellers in the market. Okay, so right now the market in Salesforce is just in a consolidation of trading, kind of like MasterCard. Okay, we can see a small movement to the upside in CRM, but again, resistance is closely by $152, maybe even $156 for Salesforce. Okay. Now let's take a look at the last one, which was IHI with the medical devices. Let's go ahead and take a look at this on the monthly time frame first. And again, here's another stock that is seeing all-time highs. It's just funny how these analysts are picking stocks that are shooting at all-time highs. This one also is having a little problem breaking above that $250 price. Monthly time frame, we have some very small spreads, but the volume definitely is coming to the market right now for this IHI ETF, the medical devices ETF. So that is definitely something that needs to be precautionary. 1 week chart, I'm still seeing some indications of weakness right now too. I won't be expecting this particular index or ETF to continue to move higher. Not right now. The weakness is a little bit more overpowering than the strength coming into the market. Now the eyes for support definitely needs to be around this particular area right here, $234, $235, give or take. If the market continues to find strength there, then this particular market and the market participants are building a cause for another resumption to higher prices at a later time. But I still suspect from this price chart that IHI medical devices ETF still have some lower prices to contend with. Okay, just keep your eyes open on that 240 all the way down to $235 for support. If we get strength on those two price levels, then yes, IHI is going to continue to move higher in price. So that is our analysis of the analysts of CNBC and our expectations from the price charts. And for the most part, we're not seeing any of those stocks moving higher. A lot of them at best would hold some consolidation of trading, but the current movement in that consolidation of trading range is lower prices. Okay, so we'll talk about it. We'll see how these particular stocks trade over the next couple of weeks to months to see really how the market played out. Make sure y'all maintain your profitability, and I will talk to y'all later.